All right, boys, in this video, I'm gonna go through the one thing that you have to be doing to actually sell saturated products online, because if you've watched any of my videos previous to this, you'll know that I'm a big fan of getting into these pretty saturated markets just because they have so much demand. So if you want to start selling a product where you're able to actually get to like $1 million a month, those are going to be saturated products. And to do it correctly, you need to include this one thing that I'm going to talk about in this video. I'm actually just on my way to the gym. I took my bike out today. A lot of people have asked me to see some more day-to-day stuff. So I thought I'd include it in this intro. Let me know if that's something that you'd actually want to see more of. This is pretty clean. I don't know if any of you guys ride bikes. It's a CBR 650R with a nice SC project on it. So yeah, if you ride bikes, you could probably relate. But yeah, let's get right into the video. By the end of watching this video, you are going to learn the one single thing that allows us to do over $2 million in a single week across our client accounts and our personal accounts. And I'll be honest, most of this is made up of our client accounts. I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm doing 2 mil a week because I'm not. That's just not the case. But there is one very specific thing that we do to actually scale these brands to such big numbers, because most of our clients are all in these very, very saturated spaces. And I want to pretty much show you how we're able to differentiate ourselves in these very, very saturated spaces so that we could take the majority of the market share. But first, I kind of want to talk about sort of the approach that everyone's doing right now. You might make a couple $100, you might make a couple $1,000, but to be honest, since this is what everyone is doing, you're not going to make any real money. And when I'm talking about real money, I'm talking about scaling a brand to at least 100K a month, 250K a month, because even at 100K a month, after expenses, everything, you're probably taking home 20K a month. And, that's good. But in the online world, that's kind of just like the starter level, to be honest with you. And if you're wanting to make some real money, where you're building a brand to 500K, $1 million a month, where you're actually taking home 6 figures a month, then you just can't be doing this method. And this is like the classic TikTok shop to meta method, where you're essentially going on Calidata, finding one of the top products, ripping and running their creatives. Most of the time, you're going to be running to the same theme, which is like the Shrine theme or the Atlas AI landers. They all look the same. You're going to have the same offer. And honestly, it's not going to work that well. And just to showcase this, I wanted to show, I did a quick search, and I came on Calidata here, and I picked this product just at random, number 12, just to see how many people are actually doing this method. And I pulled up literally in 2 seconds, I pulled up like 5 different brands, all doing the exact same thing, all same page. Like half of these are either like Shrine theme or like basic Shopify theme. They all have the same offer, the buy 2, get 1 free. And this might work to an extent, but again, it's not going to get you to these real big numbers. Wait, these are literally the same brand. Am I crazy? Yeah, I think these guys are a fake. That is diabolical. These guys are just completely ripping the entire brand. So, this approach, it's just not great because literally everyone's doing it. And again, the market is so saturated now in terms of dropshipping in general. If you're doing the same thing as everyone else, you're going to get the same results as everyone else. And to be honest, most people in dropshipping are making shit all. They're not making any money. 95% of dropshippers will probably never even reach a 1K day. So again, doing this rip and run method, you might make a quick buck, but you will never have brand longevity. You will never make this a career. You'll be up and down finding your next product to rip and run from Calidata. You'll never have, a real brand. You'll never have built anything real. So what I want to show you is what you need to realize. Big winners, when you see people post the results, 3 weeks ago, I posted a video, maybe 2 weeks ago, I posted a video of how we launched a brand new brand and we did 4.2K on day 2. That's not going to happen just from ripping and running and getting lucky on the perfect rip at the right time. It's just not going to happen. Every single time that I launch a new brand and we're doing big numbers, and I'm talking about doing 4K, 5K in a day on a relatively new brand, it's because we're able to do those numbers because we're simply better at marketing than our competition. Your only job as a dropshipper is to beat your competition. And for a lot of you, you have to recognize what are you competing on? Because when I pulled up all of those classic shrine theme, everyone running the same NAD plus supplement, those guys aren't competing on anything. They all have the same lander, the same offer, the same rips, same price, same product, same branding. It all looks the exact same. So they're all competing for this small piece of the market where they're essentially just trying to rip off like the main competitor, but they're not actually innovating. They're not making anything better. And my approach is that you essentially just need to create your own competition. You need to compete on as many things as you possibly can, because that's what's going to allow you to actually scale. So the question you're probably asking yourself right now is, how can you actually differentiate yourself, and what can you differentiate from your competitors? So number one is funnel. Obviously, all these guys are running the exact same funnel. Essentially, they're not even running a funnel. Their funnel is just add directly to Shrine Lander. So one simple thing that you could do to differentiate yourself from these guys to essentially pre-qualify your traffic a little bit more, throw in an advertorial, throw in a listicle, some sort of pre-lander. That's just one step of how you could essentially differentiate yourself right off the bat. Also the positioning. You don't want to be positioning your product as the exact same solution to the exact same products as the big guy in the industry. They're already established with that market, and that market already knows that that brand is the best in terms of providing a solution to their problems. So you need to come up with some unique positioning, and a lot of the time that's just going to be really about understanding your avatar and your market in general, and identifying where you could actually position yourselves differently. So maybe you're actually providing a solution to a different kind of group of people. But again, you want to differentiate yourself somewhere there. You don't want to just be the exact same as your competition. The other way is through your creatives, and that's pretty self-explanatory. If you're doing the ripping and running, you're not differentiating yourself at all. If you have your own unique creatives, then obviously, you're going to have some sort of competitive advantage there, because no one can just rip and run your creatives. You could obviously just DMCA them if they do that. But the fourth, and this is the most important part, this is the main part of this video that I want everyone to understand, is the unique mechanism. And the unique mechanism, I'm going to get into what it actually is, but this is going to be used to differentiate yourself in every aspect. So it's going to be in your ads, your advertorial, your product page, literally everywhere. You want to be blasting your unique mechanism, because that's what makes your product different. Especially nowadays, like, a lot of people have this high radar of like, okay, this is a shitty China product. But nowadays people know that a lot of these products are coming from China. So they might see your ad on Facebook. Instantly, they're going to think, okay, I'm probably just going to go get this on Amazon. They're going to ship to me in one day. They know that the refund policy is great through Amazon. You literally can't compete, essentially, if you're selling the exact same thing with no unique mechanism. So this is the one thing that you really need to differentiate yourself with, is the unique mechanism. What I want to explain in this video is essentially how you can implement a unique mechanism, and what even is a unique mechanism, first of all. Because in my opinion, a unique mechanism is essentially just like a proprietary technology or something that your product has that other products don't. And a lot of you are probably also thinking like, okay, well, I want to drop ship, but I don't want to start like innovating on products and changing ingredients and like improving on the product itself, because honestly, that stuff's kind of a waste of time, at least at the beginning stages. Obviously, once you have a legitimate brand, stuff's going to make a lot more sense to actually like make your product better. But you don't need to reinvent the product at the very start. You just need to reframe it. You need to use your marketing brain a little bit and reframe your product and position your product in a certain way that your competitors just aren't doing. And you're going to be able to do that through the unique mechanism. And stick with me here, because I'm going to show you a couple of examples of other brands, some big brands that are actually utilizing the unique mechanism really, really well. But essentially, when done right, it's going to make your product feel different, feel more legitimate than your competitors. It's going to add to your branding in general, to position your product as like this luxury, like the best product, the number one on the market. And that's essentially what you want to do. It also stops your customers from the thought of just like, okay, I'll just go buy this on Amazon, because if you position it in a certain way which I'm going to showcase some examples again in a second, your competitors are going to think, okay, maybe this product has this sort of technology or this process that the ones on Amazon are just more generic. They're not like created the same way as this one. And that's what you want your customers to think, because you want them to buy from you. You don't want them to buy from like the generic Amazon, eBay, whatever. And essentially you present yourself, when done right, you present yourself as like the number one product on the market, and everyone else is like just a scam or a knockoff or a generic brand or a lesser brand. And again, that's going to come down to differentiating yourself in terms of the positioning. But again, it all ties back to the unique mechanism. And without further ado, I want to show you the unique mechanism at play in a few of these different landers. So this is Cupids cologne. I'm sure a lot of you guys have probably heard of them or seen their ads. But what you'll see here is front and center, this is what their unique mechanism is. It's infused with the Pharaoh Pure VXN, which is their proprietary pheromone formula, which, I mean, maybe they've actually done some product research and like developed their product to be a bit better, because they are a pretty legit brand at this point. But at the same time, this could be complete BS. And essentially, this is what you could implement for your dropshipping brand, is some sort of, use your marketing brain and have this proprietary technology. It doesn't have to be real, but this is probably something that they've recognized that a lot of their competitors were trying to get into this market and essentially rip them off. So this is what they really push on a lot. And you'll see it's not only just in this little checkbox here at the very top. If you scroll down here, you'll have how pheromones work, not really that. Infused with the pheromone VXN, that's what really sets them apart, exclusive to them. Other pheromone fragrances are unproven, hidden formulas, no pheromones. Like, this is the formula, you could only get it here. That's what they push really with this product specifically. Same thing here, their proprietary attraction formula. So this is like, again, this is only Cupids Cologne can provide this formula. They can't just go to Amazon and get some generic pheromone perfume, because it's not going to be the same. It's not going to have the proprietary formula, the Pharaoh Pure VXN, So that's all I'm trying to say here, is essentially this is what you want to include kind of throughout. And you'll see even here, elevate your dating game by tapping into the power of Pharaoh Pure VXN. Like, they hit on this point so many times. And this is something that a lot of you guys have probably never even thought about. Again, here in their FAQ, what is the Pharaoh Pure VXN? This is probably something, again, a lot of you probably haven't really thought about, including some sort of like made up unique mechanism in your ads and in your landing page specifically as well, just so that you can really differentiate yourself and set yourself apart in terms of being the product, not just being another generic product where they could find the exact same thing on Amazon or eBay or whatever, Again, this is going to be one of the key differentiators from yourself versus your competition. So this is another brand here. They do leak-proof bikinis and underwear. So I don't know if it's for, I guess it's for women on their periods. And right here you'll see their patented 360 leak seal technology. Like, this is BS. You could literally make this up. You could make any of this stuff up and just say that your product has it, and it's your patented technology. You just made it up. It's your proprietary technology. It's not overly difficult to like establish these kinds of things. This is from Bello, and these guys sell, I think, like some sort of hair growth product that helps with like people that are losing their hair and stuff like that. And I really like what they did here. So they took it a step further. These guys are full funneled out. They're like very much dialed in terms of direct to consumer. They created what is considered like this root cause, but this is also made up, the DHT stranglehold effect. Essentially say that this is the root cause to your problem. If you have this, this, and this is the root cause to your problem. And the only thing that helps to solve this problem is our product. So essentially you'll see here, again, they're talking about the DHT, and this is all legitimate. I think this is probably all backed by studies. We found 3 ingredients that were proven to stimulate, so it still hasn't gotten into it, and boom. Okay, introducing the hair helper spray. So this in itself is like kind of a unique mechanism. It's obviously also the product name. But essentially they've branded themselves and positioned themselves as like this hair helper spray rather than like, they're not just like another hair growth serum, you know, because that's a very generic thing. You could buy a hair growth serum from Amazon as well, but they are the only ones that have the hair helper spray. And I think they also have, okay, yeah, here. They go even a step further. They're throwing this unique mechanism. They're throwing a bunch of unique mechanisms around just so that, you know, people don't think that they could buy this anywhere else. They have their proprietary follicle reset formula. And obviously you could never get that on Amazon. So it's obviously talking about all this BS of what their follicle reset formula does. But this is what I'm trying to essentially showcase in this video, is that the unique mechanism is one of the most important things, especially when you're selling these very saturated products. You know, the hair growth serums or the posture correctors or the knee braces, every single one of those products, I guarantee, test it out for yourself. Spy on some of the biggest brands that have like 100+ ads live on the ad library and look for these unique mechanisms, because you will find them. I guarantee it. They're probably going to be talking about them in the ads. They're going to be talking about them on their pre-lander, on their lander in general. They're going to be putting it everywhere. And the reason I know that is because a lot of our clients, who are some of the biggest brands that you might be spying on already, use this exact method of having this new unique mechanism and essentially positioning their product as being the only solution. It has the only formula, the proprietary formula, like, and again, use your marketing brain. You could be very creative with this, but that's essentially what I wanted to show in this video. If you did want more help with all this, I actually have a module in my program going through exactly how to actually create your own unique mechanism. So if that's something that you're interested in, click the first link in the description and you'll be directed to a page where you could essentially apply to work with me one-on-one directly. But yeah, I don't want to make this a big sales pitch. You don't have to do that. I've essentially told you what the unique mechanism is now and how to implement it. But if you do want a little bit more help in terms of everything dropshipping, then yeah, hit that first link and apply. I hope this video did provide some value to you. If you do also want to join a community of a bunch of people that are doing dropshipping, I'm going to be hosting some free Q&As in the Discord. So if you click the second link in the description, you will be able to join our free Discord. I also have some resources in there. You could hit up my private supplier. There's a bunch of stuff that is going to help you out for completely free. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have for this video. So if you did find it useful, I'd appreciate if you hit that like button and subscribe. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.